Real quick, before we start the video, I want to let everyone know that I'm going to be in Philadelphia this weekend, November 17th. I'm going to be doing a talk at the Unique Photo Camera Show called Do It Your Way. This is all about my experience as a photographer from starting out, transitioning that into it becoming a career, and then into YouTube, self-publishing, just navigating everything that I do as a photographer, just sharing my experiences and hopefully encouraging some of you along the way. So if you're interested in that, I'll have a link down below. Be sure to RSVP. And I will see you all this weekend in Philly. It is November 12th, and this month is already going by way too fast. So I have a lot of stuff about the barn that I want to share, about photography and things coming up, things that we're working on. So we're just going to catch up and share a lot today. First of all, the barn. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the current state of everything, because a lot of progress has happened. You can see some of it right here, but if I turn the camera around, it might not look like there's been much progress, but we've been getting some stuff done. As I've mentioned, I've wanted to insulate the barn, and I have started on that, but before I really started the insulation, and definitely before we seal off the ceiling, I went ahead and installed a gable vent with the help of Ben. Shout out to Ben. I'm gonna put another one up here. Basically, this is just gonna get good airflow above the ceiling, just to make sure there's no moisture issues or anything like that. Now the ceiling, initially what I was gonna do to seal that off was just use some 6mm plastic sheeting, which is not the best way to go, but it's just a very affordable way to go. So I was gonna do that, and I even bought the plastic sheeting, but I think I'm gonna be returning it because I bought 6 sheets of this 4x8, 2-inch thick foam board insulation. I believe the R value is around 10 with the way that we have it installed with the foil facing out to the metal building. But I bought 6 sheets just to kind of get started. I knew this is what I was wanting to work with, and I just wanted to maybe try putting up a couple sheets and see how it goes. And it went very, very fast and very simple. So Tyler and I yesterday, we were just gonna try putting up a couple sheets and just see how it went. And we have 1 sheet left after being out here for maybe an hour or so, maybe 2, I can't remember, but we were doing other things. My neighbor came over, he's been helping me out with like ideas and planning everything so I know what I'm doing. So it always takes a village. It's never just me working on stuff like this. I'm grateful that I have some people who are always down to help out. But putting these boards up went really easy. Making cuts, it definitely goes everywhere. So I've been sweeping up styrofoam all morning, but it goes up so easily, and we can already tell how much of a difference it's gonna make. I think I'm gonna use the exact same foam board sheets on the ceiling as well, which is definitely gonna be a lot more expensive than doing the plastic sheeting. But when I use the heater, whether it be through a wood stove or an electric heater or a mini split in the spring, there's a lot of plans on how I'm gonna heat this, but I haven't finally decided on anything yet. But regardless of the method of heating this space, I wanna make sure I'm doing it efficiently. So if I pay the upfront cost now on insulating the ceiling better, that's gonna help me in the long run with that energy efficiency. So that's my plan at the moment. And initially, I had mentioned in a previous video that we were gonna be using foam board kind of cut to fit in between the spaces along these girts running across the wall. And the issue with that is not having as much of an air gap. So with the foil facing on the wall, it might be okay, and there still is tiny, tiny gaps with, you know, the little grooves in the metal building. But to make sure everything gets good airflow and there's no moisture issues or anything like that, we went ahead and put the foam boards just directly over the girts and then fastened them in with these screws and these little washers that sort of grab onto the foam board so it holds it nice in place. And then just taping over the seams, whether that's where it meets the posts of the building or if it's just taping up the seams where the foam boards meet, just making sure no airflow gets through there. But this stuff is pretty lightweight. If I went with like a rolled insulation or something, the fiberglass rolls, I would need to build out a stud wall in order to attach that. So the cost of the foam board, Carl and I yesterday, we were in Lowe's and we were factoring out everything basically by the square footage. Carl was factoring everything, not me. I trust his math more than mine, but essentially going this way, it's still cheaper than going with rolled insulation, but then needing to buy all of the lumber, building out the stud walls, and etc. But once we get all of the insulation up, I am going to need to go above where these 8-foot boards are. We have just a little bit of a gap along the base. I've just been using a 2x4 just as a template. Just to be safe, I want to go ahead and put treated lumber along the base, just so if any water does get there, it's not going to go soaking up into the foam board and causing mold and stuff like that. But we're going to go up 10 feet, so right there, that's around 8 feet, you know, give or take a couple inches, but need to go up just a couple more feet, and then we'll do it over the ceiling as well. This whole wall right here that is full of shelves, those are attached to the girts of the barn, and I didn't want to take them off because that's just a lot of work, and they're useful shelves, but I've also since come around on that, and I think I am going to take the shelves down. We'll try to probably rebuild however we can. We're going to need to figure out a different way to anchor them to the wall. We could also repurpose the wood for other things, other projects. I am going to need quite a bit of 2x4s along the ceiling just to make sure I'm adding a little bit more structure, because once we get the foam boards up there, we're going to make sure it's not going to start sagging over time. So I will need lumber, and there's a lot there, but I could also just get some standalone like metal shelves that are adjustable, similar to the bookshelves I've been using for a few years. These shelves aren't very deep, so having a little bit more depth in shelves wouldn't be a bad idea anyway. I'll figure it out when I get there, but I do think I am going to be doing the exact same insulation all the way around and all over the ceiling. It's going to be basically just one big cooler. I'm going to be inside of like an igloo cooler, but I think I should be pretty well set insulation-wise. Super happy with how everything is going. It's going to be a mess as we continue to work in here and moving things around, but I've got tons of space to use it, so I'm stoked. It's been a really fun month though. I've been shooting a lot more portraits just over the last couple of weeks, and I've been having a blast with that. My friend Rich stopped by the barn at the beginning of the month. We've been friends on Instagram for a few years, and despite him living here in Ohio as well, not too far from here, we just haven't been able to cross paths. So he was in town for the day and I told him to stop by, and while he was here I just grabbed a quick portrait outside the barn. And whether it's inside the barn or outside the barn, that's becoming like a new ritual. Anytime someone stops by, I've had friends who are, anytime they stop by for the first time since I've been out here working on things, they want to check it out, and I'll grab a portrait of them while they're here. Hopefully in a couple of years I'll have quite a bit of portraits of all of my friends who have came to visit. And speaking of that, we also just did a shoot in here a few nights ago. My friends in My Ticket Home. The last time I shot with these guys was 11 years since I shot with these guys. So they are in the middle of recording some new stuff right now, and while they were in town, we wanted to go ahead and grab some updated photos. And I think I'm going to share all of that in a video just by itself and just kind of talk through the process of that shoot, because it was a lot of fun. So stick around for that one. I'll share that one soon. Other videos coming up in the next month. We just went to Cincinnati for the day and shot all day long. I have been to Cincinnati many times. It's usually for work or going with the family, taking the kids somewhere. I've never gone to Cincinnati just to walk and take photos and look around and just explore the city. So just an awesome day all around. We had great weather. We got to meet up with some friends. As a matter of fact, got to show this print right off the bat. This is Frank Young, Cincinnati, born and raised photographer, another person that I've known for years but have never gotten to just meet up in person and hang out with. So super excited about that video, and also about that print, which I want to talk about because I got a pretty serious care package from the people over at Epson. Now, as always, full transparency, here's how it went about. Epson reached out to me and said, we have the SureColor P900 printer. We know you use the Pro 1000. They had seen my videos with that printer. Essentially, they were interested in my thoughts comparing the two. And usually when it comes to like product reviews or things like that, unless it's, you know, something like a Hasselblad, I usually don't exchange gear for videos because I don't know how I'm going to like it or how well I'm going to use it. And they essentially said, no strings attached. You don't need to make a video. You don't have to do anything. We just want your thoughts on it. You can just share them with us. If you want to share them with your audience, you can. So I'm putting this in your guys' hands. If you want videos on the Epson SureColor P900, I'll make videos about it, and I'll try to make comparisons to the Pro 1000. That is an older printer that I've had. I got it secondhand when it wasn't really in a working state, so I kind of had to do some work to revive it and get it working again. I am giving that back to my friend Matt Seal, who gave it to me, so big thanks to Matt for letting me revive it and keep it warm for a few years. But the P900, this is the only print I've made so far. I just wanted to test it out, and one single print, no adjustments, just as it was in Lightroom, just went to the print module. No ICC profiles downloaded, I just had it select managed by printer. And right out of the box, the very first print I'm super happy with. So I think it's gonna go pretty well with the P900. If you're interested in videos on it, or if there's anything you want me to cover specifically, just let me know and I'll do that. But that's up to you guys. If you're not interested, not gonna make a video. Now, before Epson sent this to me, I actually said, there is one piece of Epson equipment that I am interested in trying, and that's the fast photo scanner. You know, the cute commercials with Shaq and his mom. I have thousands of prints of various sizes, all scattered in boxes that I've had sorted out here in the barn. And I've wanted to figure out a quick way to scan them, and this is like the most ideal thing. It's made for that. So not only did they send the P900, but they sent the fast photo scanner. I asked them to just send the photo scanner instead of the printer, and they said, don't worry about it, we'll send you everything. Very, very grateful for that. So if you're interested in videos on the fast photo scanner, I will do that as well, because I just tested it out for the first time and I scanned, I think, 250 photos very, very fast. I mean, half an hour, and I had everything in my iPad, just in my Photos app immediately. Again, not required to make a video about the fast photo or even mention it, but I wanted to make you guys aware of what's here, you know, and just share it. So if you're interested in videos on either of those two things, just let me know. And now that the post office is open today, I have a few orders going out. So a quick shout out to Joseph in Pennsylvania, Ashley in the UK, William in Colorado, and Celine in Canada. Your orders are going out the door. Thank you so much for supporting me, supporting the channel and everything I do. And a big thanks to the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. Everything I do as a photographer goes through Squarespace. I built my website, mattdayphoto.com, with Squarespace well before they were ever a sponsor on the channel, because they're the #1 place to build a website. Obviously, it's great for photographers, but no matter what you do, whether you're any kind of creative or a small business, anything you would need a website for, Squarespace has everything you need in one place. You can get started with a template and customize things however you'd like, set up an online store if you want to sell digital or physical products. For me, with self-publishing, this is a huge asset, being able to self-publish my books and zines and even sell prints, as well as sending out an email newsletter, just keeping everyone up to date on everything that I'm doing. Everything I need is all under Squarespace. So if you want to try Squarespace out for yourself, I highly encourage you to do so. You can do a free trial at squarespace.com, but when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/mattday and use the code mattday at checkout. That'll save you 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting this channel. I'd say we're pretty well caught up. I want to talk a little bit, just briefly, about this setup that I'm doing right now, this camera, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I bought this a few weeks ago and I've been using it in every kind of configuration and use case that I can think of. Just trying to test the camera out, figure out all of the best settings and how I would utilize it for my workflow here with, YouTube videos, or just even filming things at home with the family. All of the years, like once the channel got to a certain point, I started to prioritize the quality of the video and like the look of the video, and I prioritized that over the convenience of being able to just turn on and hit record. And this feels like it's as close as I've ever had to just a pick up, turn it on and hit record kind of setup, without sacrificing the quality. I started on a GoPro, but at a certain point I wanted to maintain a certain level of quality. And the last video, I think it was the last video that went up, my video on how I'm scanning all of my instant film, or digitizing all of my instant film, that was the first video where I filmed everything with just this one camera. And I wasn't sure what people would think when the video first went live, and not a single person has commented on it, positive or negatively. That alone was what I wanted. Like no reaction at all, just to seamlessly switch over to this and it not be, like people like, why'd you switch the camera? What's this camera angle? This looks weird. All of those things that I would worry about, I don't think anyone else cares about. I'll watch, half-hour long videos that someone films on the front-facing iPhone camera. I'm not a big stickler about that kind of stuff when I'm consuming it, but I always worry about what I'm putting out there. But I've been super happy with the video quality from the Osmo Pocket 3, just the ease of use. Being able to just quickly get going is great. Little magnetic ND filters if I really want to go that route. Sometimes I wish I could just hit auto and not care about the shutter speed and all of that stuff. I'm still doing some manual control here. I'm still setting the exposure manually. The ISO, you can have like a nice little auto range so you can keep it where you want it roughly. And the microphone, just being able to turn this on and I can start recording from the microphone. It immediately connects to the camera. It's all in just a tiny little neat package. As a tool, I'm really happy with this thing, and I think it can just only lead to more videos with the ease of use. So let me know what you think, what your thoughts are. There hasn't seemed to be any reaction to it at all, like I said, which is a good thing. But I am curious what you guys think about the video quality, the audio quality. Yeah, does that stuff matter to you? Is anyone listening to me? That's it for today. Thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.